At dawn, the Valley of Mexico holds a strange kind of stillness. A pale golden light spreads across the plain, touching the tops of ancient pyramids that rise like sleeping giants from the earth. The air is thin, cool, almost sharp in your lungs. And there it is, Teotihuacan. From above, it looks less like a ruin and more like the bones of some colossal being, its spine formed by the Avenue of the Dead, its great stone hearts beating in the form of pyramids, temples, and plazas. You walk toward it slowly, your footsteps crunching over dry earth. The Pyramid of the Sun towers ahead, its steps steep and worn from centuries of pilgrims. To the east, the Pyramid of the Moon stands watch at the far end of the avenue, framed by the Cerro Gordo mountain, as if the earth itself is guarding it. Between them stretches a city planned with mathematical precision, wide avenues, grand plazas, and sprawling residential compounds that once held tens of thousands of people. And yet the most haunting thing about Teotihuacan is this: we do not know who built it. The name itself comes not from its original inhabitants, but from the Aztecs, who discovered the city centuries after it had been abandoned. In their Nahuatl language, Teotihuacan means the place where the gods were created. They believed it was here that the sun and moon were born, that this was no ordinary city, but the stage for divine creation itself. By the time the Aztecs found it, the city had already been silent for hundreds of years. Its temples were empty, its streets walked only by wind and shadows. Archaeologists believe Teotihuacan was founded around 100 BCE and flourished for centuries, becoming one of the largest cities in the ancient world. At its peak, it may have held more than 100,000 inhabitants, making it larger than most cities in Europe at the time. It was a place of power, wealth, and influence, trading obsidian, ceramics, and exotic goods with distant cultures. Its art and architecture influenced regions hundreds of miles away, and its cultural reach may have shaped the rise of the great Maya cities to the south. And yet, the people who built this city left behind no written records. Their rulers, their daily lives, even the language they spoke, all lost to time. We know their religion was rich with symbolism. The murals that survive are filled with images of serpents, jaguars, and gods of rain, water, and fertility. The feathered serpent, later known to the Aztecs as Quetzalcoatl, is carved in stone along temple walls, its plumed body undulating through rows of open-mouthed serpent heads. Walking down the Avenue of the Dead, you notice something unsettling. The city is perfectly aligned with the sun and stars. The Pyramid of the Sun is oriented so that on certain days, the sun sets directly behind it, casting a long shadow across the avenue. The Pyramid of the Moon mirrors the surrounding mountains, as if the builders meant to connect heaven, earth, and the underworld in a single sacred landscape. Some believe the entire city was a kind of cosmic map, a reflection of the heavens on earth. Then there are the tunnels. Beneath the Pyramid of the Sun, archaeologists discovered a network of underground passages, chambers carved into the earth and lined with walls of volcanic rock. In one chamber, traces of a once sparkling mineral called mica were found, a material imported from hundreds of miles away. No one knows why it was placed there. Beneath the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, excavations revealed a tunnel ending in 3 chambers, their floors covered with liquid mercury. To the ancient mind, mercury may have symbolized rivers of the underworld, shimmering, deadly, and sacred. It is details like these that turn Teotihuacan from an archaeological site into a living mystery. Who commanded such monumental works? And what ceremonies took place here in the shadow of these pyramids? Some think the city was a multi-ethnic metropolis, a meeting point for many cultures, governed not by kings but by a council of elites. Others suspect there was a divine ruler, a god-king whose name has simply been lost. The city's collapse is just as mysterious as its rise. Around the 6th century CE, Teotihuacan's major monuments were deliberately burned. The temples of the gods, the palaces of the elite, all set ablaze. Was it an invasion? A revolt by the people against their rulers? Or something more complex, like famine or drought, weakening the city until it turned on itself? After its fall, the population scattered, and Teotihuacan slipped into silence. When the Aztecs arrived centuries later, they treated the site with awe and fear. They walked its silent streets and believed the gods had built it, that it was here the fifth sun, the current world, had been created. They held ceremonies here, making offerings at the ancient pyramids to honor the divine. To them, Teotihuacan was not a ruin, but a holy place where the boundary between the human and the divine had once been thin. Today, standing atop the Pyramid of the Sun, you can see the entire layout of the city spread beneath you. The wind whips across the stone, carrying with it the scent of dust and the faint tang of earth warmed by the sun. The Avenue of the Dead stretches in a straight line, a monumental spine connecting the heart of the city to its northern crown. The Pyramid of the Moon seems smaller from here, but its position, framed by the mountain, feels deliberate, as though it was placed to capture some celestial alignment long forgotten. Theories abound about Teotihuacan's purpose. Some see it as the capital of an empire, built to dominate trade and politics in Mesoamerica. Others view it as a vast ceremonial center, a place of pilgrimage where people came from far and wide to witness and participate in cosmic rituals. The presence of apartment compounds suggests everyday life here was vibrant and complex. Families, markets, workshops, and artisans living in the shadow of the pyramids. And then there are the more esoteric ideas. Some researchers have pointed to the city's precise measurements, noting that certain distances align with astronomical cycles, hinting that Teotihuacan was built as a giant calendar in stone. Others, more speculative still, suggest the builders possessed knowledge far ahead of their time. Knowledge of earth energies, sacred geometry, perhaps even contact with cultures beyond our understanding. But no matter how many excavations are carried out, Teotihuacan keeps some of its secrets. Its builders remain nameless, their voices silent, their stories untold. What they have left us is not a book, but a city, a vast, enduring riddle carved in stone and laid out under the open sky. If you visit at sunset, the light turns the pyramids a deep orange, and long shadows stretch across the avenue. The sounds of the modern world fade, and for a moment you can almost hear the distant echo of drums, the murmur of prayers, the footfalls of thousands gathered for a ritual lost to time. You stand there, feeling the immense weight of history, knowing that beneath your feet lie layers of earth holding the answers to questions we may never be able to ask properly, let alone answer. Teotihuacan is a reminder that even the greatest cities can vanish, leaving behind only fragments, and that sometimes mystery itself is the most enduring legacy. And so I leave you with this thought. If you could walk Teotihuacan at the height of its glory, when its temples were fresh with paint and its plazas crowded with life, what would you want to see first? The towering pyramids, the secret tunnels, or the people themselves, living their everyday lives in the city of the gods? Thank you for joining me on this journey into Teotihuacan. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, please like, comment, and share. It truly helps keep these stories alive.